Hey, how's it going, everybody? So it's finally here, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Disc 1. A lot can change in 23 years, so today, we'll be exploring the differences between the iconic Final Fantasy VII and the reimagined Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, how does it compare to the original? Well, that's what we'll cover today in what will be Episode 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Comparison Series. We played through the demo last time, which covers the intro, as well as the bombing mission at Reactor Number 1. So, assuming nothing's changed since the demo release, we'll be picking up right after the explosion. Alright, turns out there are a few small differences. First off, the title screen. I mentioned in part 1 how it will likely be changed, and yep, here's our new title screen. Now the old version and the new one match, with the Buster Sword awaiting our hero. The original is sitting on the ground, propped against perhaps a wall or something, and the new sword is actually stuck in the ground. We have access to our options in the remake before starting out. And there's a continue option, as well as load game, for a quick resume using the autosave feature. And then the intro. It's extended from the one we saw in the demo. We see the canyon as a bird leads our focus towards Midgar. Reminds me of the Advent Children intro. And we get a really nice look into Midgar. I'm guessing this is Sector 8. We've got the people living out their daily lives, kids riding bikes down the street, but then that playground. It looks a lot like the one in the Sector 6 slums, but this appears to be above the plate, so it must be a different one. Perhaps that Moogle head slide is a common fixture for playgrounds in Midgar. A girl looks towards the reactor, and the scene leads into the intro we saw last time. Fast forward to the Reactor Number 1 elevator. Jessie asks Cloud about Tifa. But this time, Cloud has a flashback to Nibelheim.
Cloud! Are you ignoring me?
Tifa and I...
I didn't show it before, so here's a Shock Trooper comparison. And now let's fast forward once more, immediately following the explosion. We regroup and catch our breath outside the reactor in this tunnel now filled with rubble.
Looks like we made it.
We explore it briefly in the remake. The team exchange some dialogue.
Can't wait to see you, Marlene.
Can't wait to take a hot shower.
She's good to go.
Then Jessie plants the bomb.
Fire in the hole!
You sure told those doors.
Let that be a lesson to anything that gets in my way.
The team are in shock over the outcome of the explosion. It's clear that they overdid it. They really feel the weight of their actions, but also know it had to be done.
This couldn't have been us, could it? But what if it was?
Jessie especially feels guilty, as she made the bomb, but didn't expect that level of impact. Barrett cements his role as the leader of Avalanche, encouraging his team.
But it's okay, cause I'm here for you, to help take the load off your shoulders. Your fears, your worries, your concerns, and yes, your feelings. Whatever your problem, I got you.
There's some announcements notifying the citizens of what's going on in Sectors 1 and 8. We need to escape Sector 1, but first, Cloud asks about his money. In the original, it's down below outside of that tunnel. In the remake, he waits till they're up the stairs. At this point in the original, Cloud is already at Loveless Avenue in Sector 8. In the remake, we get to run through Sector 8 in its chaotic state, and we've got a lot of ground to cover. So much to look at. Graffiti too. When looking into the fire, Cloud catches a glimpse of Sephiroth. This is likely an allusion to the Nibelheim incident, as Cloud is afflicted by flashbacks. He chases after this apparition of Sephiroth. And things get all staticky. Maybe Cloud's DMW is glitching out?
Our beloved planet is dying. Slowly, silently, painfully. Can you bear to see the planet suffer? Cloud.
You bastard! Yeah!
Things return to what is more or less normal. And Cloud continues on through the still frantic Sector 8, till he finally reaches Loveless Street. Aerith doesn't get pushed down in the new version, but she is bothered by these strange ghostly wisps. And Sephiroth returns. But Aerith snaps Cloud out of it. In the original, Cloud can send her away. But she stays in the remake. Also, you can refuse the flower in both versions. But in the remake, she insists.
Oh, don't be like that. I know you want one.
How much?
And the price is no longer 1 gil. First it's free, then Cloud offers 2 gil, then 5.
Please, that's not nearly enough. Besides, I clearly said it was on the...
But he gets it for free either way. So let's just go ahead and accept it. I like how he wears it on his vest all through the next section. Aerith leaves casually in the original, and in the remake, she flees at the sight of soldiers.
Sword on the ground! Right now!
We're not given the option to run away in the new game. I mean, we can run, but we don't get very far before we have to face our enemies.
There's nowhere to run!
Just give it up!
Also, the Fountain Plaza, it's not as calm as it was in the old game. We now have guards and dogs to fight, and a helicopter shooting at us. We escape through the rooftops.
Open fire! Shoot to kill!
There doesn't seem to be any Avalanche propaganda here either. We've got a bit more ground to cover before that fateful train jump. Even the Shinner guard with a red riot shield, the Huntsman he's called, sort of acts as a mini-boss. Cloud is surrounded, and here it is. One of the Shinra seem to recognize Cloud. Not sure if he'll be important later, or if it's just a nod to the fact that Cloud was once with them. Here's Avalanche inside the freight car, and they're worried about Cloud. Wedge doesn't ask about his money in the new game. Cloud makes his entrance.
You can have it for saving my life.
Just doing my job. Nothing more.
Yeah. Fact is, I'm lucky you were there.
We push our way forward. It's a lot more crowded in the remake, as lots of people are fleeing from Sectors 8 and 1. There's also an additional train car in the remake. We meet Barrett there. It seems like it may be more of an upper-class car, since it's a lot less crowded, and there's Shinra employees inside. Barrett stands up for the values of Avalanche.
Hey, quit talking out your ass. Everyone knows Avalanche only cares about saving the planet.
We should go. Right.
Jesse shows us the Midgar map. then explains the ID system.
Don't worry. Our IDs are impeccable. What'd I tell ya? Have a little faith.
And now, one of my all-time favorite lines.
It's because of that great big pizza in the sky that people down there gotta struggle to survive.
Then leave and don't look back. That's what's always worked for me.
Well, that's all well and good. If you're only out for yourself. But the folks down there don't have the luxury of choice, you know?
Like this train, I suppose. There's only one way it can go.
Our train arrives at the Sector 7 slum station. People rejoice, returning home, as well as our team.
Hot damn, we are good!
Yes!
We decide to meet up at the bar 7th Heaven.
You know, where Tifa works? Don't keep her waiting. She'll worry.
The train man seems busy with a drunk.
And the reactor haven't come. Everyone gets pissed off when we stop working. I need a new job.
And later, he's dealing with a mob.
I'm sorry, but we've received no updates since we were told to suspend service this morning.
How will I get to work?
You owe us! I'm truly sorry, but all I can say is the whole of Shinra's Railway Division is working to rectify this issue.
Tough day on the job. Some of the NPCs have similar dialogue in both games.
Except, the only place around here is the train graveyard, which everyone says is haunted. But that's cool, right?
Rain check?
And we can take a look at the train graveyard. It's not accessible yet in either version, but there's a gate blocking us in the new game, and simply an old train blocking us in the old.
Rumors spread and kids get curious. You know how it is.
Speaking of which, you hear it was supposedly a ghost, not a monster, that attacked that guy this afternoon?
They must have been seeing things.
Outside the station is actually bumping in the new game, with people gathered outside hanging out, and food stands. We continue on, and get our first glimpse of the pillar. The guy is still there too, but this time, he's not very friendly. He has a hatred towards Avalanche, which could be a nod to this guy back at the Fountain Plaza.
Goddamn eco-warriors with their dumbass posters. I tear them down and they're back up inside of an hour, like I've got nothing better to do. I mean, look at all that steel work. You trying to tell me that's not progress? Mako junkie, huh? Figures.
It's nice to see we still get the banter between these two Shinra guards.
Due to an emergency, entry into this area is prohibited. Sorry for the inconvenience.
You called that a warning?
No, sir!
Now on to 7th Heaven. Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse don't join us yet. In fact, The usual events that occur around this point in the original are done in a different order, with new stuff added in between, so I'll still compare them, but the order won't be consistent. So Tifa and Marlene are waiting for us outside in the remake. Originally, it was Barrett waiting, when everyone else was inside.
Daddy, you're home!
That's right, Angel,
Welcome back.
He's actually the first one into the bar now, instead of being last. He also doesn't have to kick out Johnny and his friends. Tifa notices that flower we bought off of Aerith. In the original, you can choose to give that flower to either Tifa or Marlene. Here's Marlene in the old game. Barrett has her thank you. And here's if you don't get the flower at all. Unfortunately, you don't get to choose who to give it to in the new game, even if you try and refuse the flower from Aerith. So here's Tifa in both versions.
Huh? How sweet. When did you get so thoughtful?
Guy can change. Has been 5 years.
Huh?
Barrett and Marlene are sitting at the bar. Here's Cloud scaring Marlene.
Hey! The hell you think you're doing, scaring my daughter like that?
Daddy says never talk to strangers.
When you want to talk to a little kid, don't go giving her the professional killer eyes.
We've got some extra things to do in the new game, so we'll put a great big pause on the original at this point. Tifa leads us to the Sector 7 Inn, Stargazer Heights, a bit of an upgrade from the spare room above the beginner's hall. This is where Tifa's been living, and Cloud gets his own room here too.
Don't worry, I already told the landlady about you.
Cloud hears a ghoulish sound in the night.
Guess it's time for introductions.
What are you doing to Marco? This is his apartment.
I guess that's just Marco? In the morning, we head back to 7th Heaven. We're put to work replacing filters.
These water filters won't replace themselves.
Let's get this over with.
Great. And while we're at it, I'll give you the grand tour.
Good idea, Tifa. Let's take a tour of the Sector 7 slums. 7th Heaven looks pretty similar. It now has an awning above the door, as well as 2 above the newly placed tables on the porch patio. The sign no longer says Typhor Bar, now displaying the correct name, 7th Heaven, and the above sign now wishes you a great day, instead of saying Texas, though the bar still has a western feel to it. Next, we visit the item shop. That same orange insignia can still be seen above the door. That metal ventilation counter is still in place, as well as the signs in the back, the crates, and what looks like a small boiler. The pot is absent from the counter, and the old guy is replaced by a younger, cocky dude.
Tifa, baby, how you doing? Been waiting for you to... Wait, let me see.
Maybe it's his grandson. Here's what's for sale.
Thanks.
Now onto the weapon shop. We still got the caged counters, and the targets on the wall, weapon testing on the side, but no metal goblin head or whatever that is. Let's go upstairs to the beginner's hall. same small room with the fence and the crates, but it's a lot less crowded now. Here, Biggs and Wedge are on duty. They run a neighborhood watch in the new game. A nice touch, and it gives them more presence in the neighborhood. Cloud joins, and we're given some side activities.
So, where are these monsters?
Scrap Boulevard. Good hunting.
And Tifa joins the party, so we get to fight with her a bit before the usual next mission. The top floor is closed off to us in the remake. I guess that kid was put out of business due to the old lady's fancy new inn.
A good long rest to cure anything, I tell you.
We can kind of see the room from the second floor. Here, Cloud gets his first new sword, the Iron Blade. This one wasn't in the original. Cloud's second weapon was the Mithril Saber, though that's not until you reach Calm. So I'm curious to see if any of his old swords will be in part 1, or if they'll all be original. It's cool you can see his equipped weapon on the field, as well as the materia colors equipped.
Or if you want to take a look at something else.
Just a look.
Here's the weapon store's menu.
Don't be a stranger.
Let's finish out the tour. Past the item shop, we got the inn. So I guess it's beyond this sign. We've got similar signs in the remake. Here, Tifa talks about dressing up, and we're given 3 choices for her style, and here's her response to each.
Something exotic?
Really? Then again, if we're making an effort.
Something sporty?
I don't think that'd be so different from my usual.
Something refined?
Yeah, I guess we're not kids anymore. Be sure to pick an outfit that goes with mine, okay?
Will do.
Past the weapon shop, we have Scrap Boulevard, which is pretty empty, but we have some enemies to fight here. To the left of 7th Heaven, there's a sort of tunnel, and to the right, behind the bar, there's a clubhouse with a funky chocobo track. Further back is just some storage area. Back to the main street. Next to the bar is good old Johnny's house. He's being dragged out by Shinra.
Shut up, punk! Or what, huh? Screw you!
We save him and send him out of the town, never to come back.
You got it, boss! You ain't never gonna see my face again! I swear!
In the original, Johnny more or less leaves on his own. Though his parents wouldn't let him inside. We can go inside though, at least in the original. Here's his parents missing him already.
My boy up and declared he was leaving town to go on a journey. We only live once. I say while he's young, he should follow his heart, even if it means defying the man. Playing by the rules only gets you so far. Oh, I don't think I've had a chance to introduce myself yet. I'm Johnny's father. I'm sure you're terribly worried about him too, aren't you, Tifa? That's my boy. I'll have to remember to tell him that when he finally comes back home. Man, playing...
My son suddenly told us that he was going to leave town. Oh, tell me it isn't true. He can't survive out there on his own. He's a headstrong boy, so once he puts his mind to something, he always follows through. For better or worse.
Last place on the tour is the abandoned warehouse. It's next to the pillar, so its entrance would be back here. But let's continue on in the story. Back to the 7th Heaven, because we still need our money. Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse join us this time. There's about to be a meeting. Barrett takes the pinball lift down to the basement. And Tifa offers Cloud a drink.
What'll it be?
And the two choices.
I don't know. Something hard and bitter.
Well, most people would say something sweet right about now.
I'm sure they would. Not really in the mood right now.
But if you were, then maybe...
We drink either way in the new game.
Our house special, the Cosmo Canyon. I gotta go.
So the meeting's starting, and Cloud's not invited to join in the remake, so let's kill some time. We can still see the kitchenette, and even go behind the bar in the new game. Still not many tables inside. Here's the jukebox. And here's where the dartboard would be. There's an additional pinball machine in the new game. We can't see the basement in the remake, so let's look at it in the original.
Think you might have overdone it?
I followed the instructions to the letter. Maybe it triggered a reaction with the Mako?
Back upstairs, things are totally opposite. Cloud was practically begged to join them on another mission. Now Barrett makes the decision not to keep him on.
Fine by me. That's how I like it. No contract, no obligation.
Here's Tifa's promise.
Heya. So, what did you want to talk about?
When spring comes, I'm leaving town. I'm going to Midgar.
Should have figured. All the guys are leaving.
But I'm not like them. I'm not going just to look for work. I'm gonna be a soldier. The best of the best. Like Sephiroth.
The Great War hero, huh? Isn't it pretty hard to become a soldier?
Yeah, so I won't be back for a long time.
Guess not. Think you'll be in the papers?
I'll try.
Just promise me one thing. When we're older, and you're a famous soldier, if I'm ever trapped or in trouble, promise you'll come and save me.
Huh?
That's what heroes do. They save people. Please? Just once. Come on, promise me.
Fine. I promise.
Cloud remembers it a bit later in the remake, but it's still implied that the conversation took place at this point. Cloud gets his payment. And Avalanche is celebrating.
So long as someone looks out for my stomach.
Tifa's got you covered there.
As a friend or as a cook?
As if you really gotta ask.
At this point in the original, we sleep in the bar's basement, but let's put another pause on that, because we've got an extra mission in the new game. We see some thugs that want to take out Barrett, and we squash them.
Big man with a big gun for an arm, right?
Then Jesse drags Cloud on a secret mission. Biggs and Wedge accompany us. We get an early taste of the motorcycle game. And we meet Rosh. Or Roche, I guess. One of the newbies in the remake. We get to see the Sector 7 plate. First time we ever get a look at life above the 7th slum. It's Shinra employee housing, and also where Jesse's parents live.
You know, I'd really love to stay and chat, but we gotta go.
So soon?
Yeah, well, we hadn't even planned on dropping by. But Wedge wanted some of your famous pizza.
So good.
Sure I can't tempt you with some more?
Maybe just a couple slices, Mrs. R.
Wedge!
Biggs reminds us of the summon materia Jesse gave us. In the original, we got Ifrit aboard the cargo ship before Costa del Sol. Here's his battle comparison. He has Radiant Plume and Crimson Dive. And his finisher is Hellfire, of course. Here's Wedge being chased by dogs before we battle Roche.
Oh, shot!
Your ass is fine. Maybe singed, but the only casualty is your underwear. This is like a bruise or a mild burn at worst.
Is this a reference to the fire? We parachute back down after Jessie has what she needs, and we see Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge's homes. Jesse gives us two choices for coming over later.
Not happening.
Ah, sorry. Little too in your face? I'll just have to change it up then. Nighty-night. Psych.
No promises, but I'll think it over.
Really? You will? I'd make a mean pizza, I'll have you know. Marsh, Loosh, Black Millie, Red Shelly. I use only the best ingredients. Sound good?
Never heard of any of that stuff.
Oh, you are so adorable, you know that? You just leave everything to me. It'll be great.
Cloud finally goes to bed for the night, and in the morning, we're heading back to the 7th heaven. Just some more ghosts first.
We ain't putting on a damn show!
Jessie's injured, which differs from the original. She and Wedge stay behind. I guess they can watch after Marlene, so she's not left alone again.
I'm gonna need a raise.
Consider it done. Alright everyone, Cloud's in. The mission is on.
Go and raise some hell for me, okay?
Biggs has already went on ahead to scout for the next mission, and the classic trio of Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa head out towards reactor number 5. Alright, well, there it is. Sector 8 and the 7 slums. That was a lot to cover. I'm loving how much it was expanded, and with a lot of details left intact. It used to be a matter of minutes within the 7th slum before we set off again. Not even a single battle. But we'll be covering more combat in the next episode, when we head towards the number 5 reactor. Hope to see you there.
Hello, lightning magic? You even know how to use materia?
Of course I know how to use material. What kind of stupid question is that? Quit brushing me.
You do know how to use it, right?
You do know what I was, right?